Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present my paper on the topic promotion of youth to social work, the new approaches, models, and practices. I'm just sharing my PPT. Hope the PPT is it visible?
Yes,
Slides are moving.
yes, it is moving.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Uh, so my presentation overview and objectives are: it is to understand the profile of youth. So the concept and objectives of this Youth Global Summit is also follows the same, and to realize the need for youth work for youth development, to know the ingredients for youth development, understand youth work as well as social work, how we can merge the social work models, approaches, and methods into youth work, and to identify the areas and intervention of youth social work, to develop new models and approaches for youth social work, and also to know and develop some of the skills and competencies of youth social workers. So the youth profile I'm not going to deep because we know it is the concept note of the Youth Global Summit. So there are about 1.2 billion young people around the world, and the highest youth population is found in India, that is 7.5%. So at present, though we have highest population in India, but at the global youth index level, so we are at 133. Whereas when we compare our neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, and Sri Lanka, so we are far behind. But there are a lot of reasons and causes, factors are there behind this fall down in the global youth development. That is, we need to follow our national youth policy. The development policy for shape the youth for our nation building. So the youth development policy, that means youth policy, national youth policy 2014, we talk about 5 key objectives and 11 priority areas for the holistic development of the youth, and that is already given in the youth national youth policies. So if you look at the youth policy, so there are 11 priority areas which have been highlighted and which are most important for the development of the youth in terms of education, employment, entrepreneurship, and also some personal and psychosocial well-being. It includes physical, psychological development, health and healthy lifestyles, promotion of the social values, community engagement, participation of youth in politics and governance through civic participation, and it also talks about the inclusive development and the social justice. So there are multiple ingredients for youth development. So as I said, as mentioned in the national youth policies, including the 11 priority areas. So there are some ingredients which are very, very important for increasing the opportunities to our youth to make decision by their own. That means help them to make decision and help them to participate in the governance and emotional and moral support. And we need as an adult to give them a supportive relationship, and we need to have a sense of belongingness and personal values, and we need to also provide opportunities for them for positive social values and also for skill building and mastery in technical skills, vocational skills. And we also help them by giving handholding support for them to go for social entrepreneurship, youth entrepreneurship. And we also must have a strong family building and strong links between families, schools, and broader community resources. And keeping thus this into the broader concept for youth social work, nowadays the youth work has been one of the major profession that has been flourished in most of the Western countries. Like if you take London, so many people are engaged in youth work, and many universities and higher educational institutions are providing a specialized course on youth work. And of course, at the same time, the social work is also one of the standalone profession. And most of the people who are working with the youth are social workers. So my concern is, my suggestion and my argument here is, so why can't we merge youth profession, that means youth work profession, as well as a social work profession together, and make a new method called, or new method or new profession called youth social work. So I would like, you know, taking some concepts of life skills education and some of the skills like self-awareness, empathy, social and interpersonal relationship, thinking skills, and then capacity building. All this together, we need to create a new model, because one thing which is very common in all these three profession is the strength-based approach. So the social worker should can become as a youth social worker by working with the youth on their promotion and well-being, addressing the issues and challenges of the youth by providing opportunities on this for the holistic and well-being. So the youth social work interventions to be designed and implemented. The youth social work should become as an emerging profession in India, and that should be promoted across the world. And youth social work should become as one of the accepted, acknowledged specialization and recognized specialization or a profession across the world. So the areas of youth work can be done with marginalized youth, underprivileged, non-empowered, and and underdeveloped segments of the youth. The missing youth concept, like need neither in education, the youth neither in education or in employment and training. Then unemployed youth, migrated, both internal and external youth. Then promote youth entrepreneurship, and we can also work with the youth who are at risk, like drug addicted, who are involving in antisocial behavior, crime, and who are also have been affected by HIV/AIDS and other physical as well as mental health issues. So the focus of youth social work are same as the youth work and the social work. So we need to perform outreach program and do lot of interventions, and the success models of interventions can be replicated in other parts of the country, and to facilitate intervention work for the youth identified to be at risk. And we need to build trust and instill positive values among youth, engage them, mentor them, and counsel alienated and youth at risk who reject formal activities. And then we can develop and maintain a trusting relationship with the youth. And we can also bring out an exclusive policy for the marginalized youth. Though we have developed a national youth policy, and which has included all the segments of youth, but however, as morning Dr. Batra mentioned, Subhashish Batra mentioned about, we need to also look into the marginalized youth, and especially the youth who are having inequalities and who are denied justice, social justice. So we need to develop an intervention model in this context. So there are a lot of challenges to do youth work in India. One is lack of investment in youth work, the lack of cross-sector understanding of how youth work makes a difference, and also limited opportunities to embed effective solutions. Because if you take in India, there are a lot of youth organizations, especially even the government as well as non-governmental or the organizations. They have established a lot of voluntary associations like NSS, NYKS, and we as a RGNIYD are also working on the youth development aspect, and NCCC, and also in Commonwealth Youth Program. Then if you take the non-governmental organizations, there are n number of organizations like Restless Development, Youth Alliance, Yuva Parivartan, then Youth Reach India, STACE, which is an NGO for children and youth empowerment, NID, so it is called a Network for Youth Development and Healthy Environment, Youth India Foundations, GD, which is one of the NGO which was established by our own RGNIYD alumni. It is called Grassroots Empowerment and Development by Youth. So these are all various NGOs and the various governmental, organizations working for the youth development. Why can't we bring a cross-sector movement which will work together to ensure the youth organizations have access to sustained funding and quality development provision for youth people, and bring cross-sector leaders and young people together to share, grow, and expertise, solve the key issues, and also grow the evidence-based work. And at the most, we need to focus on unlocking the youth work in India. So the models which I propose are, one is the primary approaches and the secondary approaches model. One is the preventive approach. So we need not talk about this one because it is to prevent the youth not to indulge in any kind of risky behavior. And though the preventive approach is very popular even in life skills education also, in order to prevent the people from the physical ailments, but here we can take this approach not to allow or protect our youth from this kind of the some of the the problems. So then we need to develop their capacities and capabilities, so which is through a strength-based approach, and then we can also develop an intervention approach. So the secondary approach, I take it as a youth development approach, policies and programs. So this can be taken as one of the model and approach. Then youth global network, that means go global and impact local. So of course this youth global summit will help us to bring out very good the declaration so that we can take it forward. So this is what I would like to highlight upon. So the role of youth social workers are as the social work roles. So we need to have appropriate strategies. We need to act as advocates, and we need to follow multi-strategic approaches. Then intervention and evidence-based research. Using youth as an asset-based approach is one of the approach we can follow. So the key competencies we need to develop is knowledge, attitude, and skills to practice youth work. Then capacity and competencies for us, as a youth work professionals, organizing ability and having a good network, creative and innovation programs, then good enabling environment. Then we need to also manage the conflict in order to overcome all these challenges. Then we need to develop the subject competencies and change our change ourselves so that we can change the future of India. So by concluding, I would like to say that there are a lot of youth development programs which have been amended by the government of India. So these are all the programs. I think that youth are not aware about all these programs. It is our duty as a youth social workers. So we need to empower them, educate them, and bring awareness and give a lot of opportunities for their self-development. So by saying this, I would like to conclude, youth are not useless, they are useless. So as a social workers, once a social worker is a social worker forever. So we can also work with the youth and we can become a youth social worker. So thank you so much. So this is about my presentation and these are all the references. Thank you.